So, how would you describe the Belarus position in the international sphere, especially within Europe? And if you can maybe name 3 areas in which Belarus is leading the rest of the European states?
You know, of course, our position in Europe, this means that we are a European state. We belong to European family in terms of our culture, in terms of our history, according to the mentality of our people. And of course, if you see the everyday life of Belarusians, you will see that this is a purely European modus vivendi. So, being the founding member of the Eurasian Economic Union, which was created this year, so at the same time we are part of Eastern Partnership Program of the European Union, and thus we Belarusians, I don't like to speak about leading role of any country, especially small and medium-sized countries, but anyway, our leadership here could be in terms of providing a kind of linkage, a kind of dialogue between different integrational processes on the European continent. I mean here dialogue and cooperation and interaction between European Union and Eurasian Economic Union via Belarus, using Belarusian venue for the start of this process.
What were the changes that Belarus underwent in the past decade that brought it to where it is today?
So maybe the most impressive change that we underwent during these decades, that there were no shock therapy. Speaking in terms of economic conditions, in terms of stability, in terms of political life, we are quite a stable country. The fundament of our quite impressive achievements in performing economic cooperation, in providing social standards of living for our people, this is of course stability. And I can only advise all other countries, our neighbors in the region, just to be more focused on the evolutionary way of development, rather making or accepting any kind of choices, any kind of revolutionary measures. It will never solve the problem. So evolution, this is the most important motto of Belarus as for now.
Okay, did the exchange sanctions between Russia and European Union affect Belarus, and if yes, how and to what extent?
It is very difficult to measure the negative effects of any sanctions regime because they always have even psychological effects dimension. But of course we are very much influenced because EU sanctions with regard to Russia, they are part to the this unfortunate development in economic situation in Russia. They are contributing to the economic decrease in Russian Federation. And of course Russia introducing sanctions in response also is not very much how to put it, taking into account our interest of cooperation with EU. This is why Belarus is not, has not associated itself with the Russian sanctions in response to the EU sanctions. We are trying to proceed from our national interests, and at the same time we are trying to advocate the end of the sanctions regime between these 2 very important partners and neighbors of Belarus.
Thank you very much.